Yeah, how about that? I'm back already. I got time. I'm at work. I got time today, cuz I'm at work. This is where I work. So I should do work. Brandon Marcus and I just did an hour-long podcast recapping the Clippers' big victory over the Denver Nuggets. We talked about Kawhi Leonard. We mentioned our thoughts with just where we think he could be at in his recovery process from the swelling in his right knee. We also discussed Jordan Miller versus KPJ a little bit, Mo Bamba, James Harden for MVP, Norman Powell being back. How good could this team be if James Harden really turns things around with his efficiency? And now I'm like, well, I got time before a Clips and Dip episode, and I'm at work, and I'm not going to go home and then come back here because I'm not allowed to do this in my apartment anymore, at least if I want to continue to live there. And it's a nice dwelling. And I don't want to get kicked out. So I guess I'll do a preview of the Clippers Portland Trailblazers game coming up tomorrow. And we'll take whatever questions you guys got in here. As yes, I'm going solo like Han now. I'm at a Mosland and you're back in with Clippers Talk. It is seeming to get closer and closer to just doing a 24/7 live stream at all times. Some real Truman Show Ed TV action here. We may get to that point. But let's talk about this Clippers team. Offensively now, they're 23rd. They moved up a spot after last night putting up, 126 points on Denver? Yeah, 126 to 122. So the Clippers hitting 18 three-pointers. That's going to juice up your offense. That is going to help. And it did. As I'm sure people are coming in here and wondering what the hell is going on right now. How is Adam still doing another podcast? I can't help myself. But let's compare to the Portland Trailblazers and where they're at, because there have been some positive trends on their end. They're 8-13, guys. They're not last in the Western Conference. That would be the New Orleans Pelicans at 4-17. In between Portland and New Orleans, you got the Utah Jazz at 4-16. But the Blazers have had some good victories, not just over the Clippers. They just beat the Kings. They just beat the Rockets. They beat the Timberwolves twice. They beat Atlanta. Atlanta just beat Cleveland twice, right? They have gotten quality wins so far this season, the Portland Trailblazers. So I don't think you can overlook this team and just say it should be an easy victory for the Clippers at all. I think you have to go in with a more cautious, humble mindset, considering you've already been humbled by this team. You lost to them. JMI 1324 said, man, salute to you. You dedicated, humble, honest, and creative. I try. Usually not that humble. Darkman said, hey, Human Adam. Human Adam is in here. Man, maybe I should. No, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm not going to be able to hook up the sound so you can hear AI Adam. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I mean, there are ways I can play some AI Adam, but you already know what it is with that. JMI 1324 said the Blazers playing hard right now, and I love the competitiveness they play with. Yeah, they're not nearly as bad as you would expect. They've lost 3 of 4. Sure. They have lost 5 of 7. Okay, I get it. But they've lost to good teams. The Thunder, the Rockets, who they also beat, the Grizzlies, the Pacers, the Mavericks, who they played close against. What was that game last night? Winnable game. They're 5-5 at home. So they only have 3 victories on the road, one of them being at Intuit Dome before it became the fortress it has become now with the Clippers, as they have won 8 straight there. But that Dallas game, they lost by 6 points. They got 27 out of Anthony Simons. Shaedon Sharpe is back. He wasn't available that first game against the Clippers. He had 22 last night. They have guys that can beat you. They have a lot of young talent where if they put it together on any particular night, you're going to be in for a dogfight against them. And Shaden Sharp's one of the better young players in the NBA. And the Clippers missed him the first time out. Last game, 22 points. Game before that, 14, 17, 15, 24, 13, 21, 32, 33. Dude can get buckets. We know they have had their issues scoring-wise. They're 27th offensively overall, but I think they've been better than that recently. Let me check. Portland, last 10 games, 25th. Let me go back to their last 5 games here and see where they're at offensive rating-wise. 19th. So 27th on the season. Last 5 games, they are 19th on the offensive end. As for where they are defensively, this Portland Trailblazers team, on the season, 20th. That's better than I would have expected. What does that mean? What have they been doing there over their last 5 games? They are, they're worse over their last 5. They're 27th. That's interesting. Threw me for a loop. Over the last 10, though, they're 14th. So their offense has been playing a little bit better. Their defense has gotten a little bit worse. I just don't think this is a surefire win. Jonathan Inks said, wow, wasn't expecting another show today. I got time. Daily dose 2 times today. We got a Clips and Dip coming up later tonight. So I guess technically I'm on 3 different podcasts today. I got some time. I'm at work. I can't podcast at home. So I'm going to take advantage of being here. If I'm going to be here, I'm going to do the damn show. Jonathan Inks said, Clippers got to play with fire like they have against the better teams. Can't overlook the Blazers like they did the last time and got beat. DM said, Adam, whose game is Jordan Miller's closest to? Oh, we have been trying to figure that out for a while. Honestly, we mentioned, did we bring up Tayshaun Prince at one point, or were we talking about Derek Jones Jr. with Tayshaun Prince? I don't know. I got to think about that a little bit more. I have to see more from Jordan Miller. He's got some Batum in him with the no-dip threes, of course, but his rim pressure and finishing around the rim with the way he just flips the ball up and has this magnificent touch there at a guy who's 6'5", but with a longer wingspan. You guys tell me your comp for Jordan Miller, given that we've seen him in less than 500 minutes so far in the NBA. I'm guessing that's where it's at. So where are the Portland Trailblazers at in pace? Where the Clippers, as you would expect, they're 20th. They play at a slower pace. Portland Trailblazers are 12th. What about recently? Last 10 games. Let's see if they've been playing faster. Okay, 10th, the last 10 games. What about the last 5 games? They've been playing better offensively. Are they playing faster there? No, they're 12th. So pace hasn't really changed or fluctuated very much, even though offensively they have been better as of late. Rebounding. Biggest surprise for me all season long. Did not expect the Clippers to be this good of a rebounding team. I hope it holds up because they need it to. The Portland Trailblazers, this is an area they struggle. They're 21st in rebounding percentage. Defensive rebounding percentage, where the Clippers are first, the Portland Trailblazers are dead last in defensive rebounding percentage. So you can get some offensive boards on them. Portland, though, is, this is interesting. They are 5th in offensive rebounding percentage. That's better than the Clippers, who are 12th there. Okay. Young guys, athletes flying around, making some hustle plays, playing hard, like I think Jonathan Ing or JMI 13 pointed out. Yeah, they're competing. Yeah, people do say SGA because of his deceleration, the sidestep move he has, but yeah, his handles aren't nearly as good, and he's almost 25. DM said, I don't know how Miller makes those shots when he drives to the hole and then it looks like he's tossing up a random shot, but it goes in. Great touch around the basket. So, one thing to worry about offensive rebounds with the Portland Trailblazers. Let's see what they did that first game against the Clippers and see if any of these numbers line up with how they were able to beat them by one in a really frustrating game where I believe the Clippers threw the ball away on an inbounds pass. Is that right, guys? Remind me on this one. So they had 12 offensive rebounds the first time against the Clippers. Clippers had 13, so that's not necessarily why the Clippers lost. Portland went 14 of 33 from the outside. That's 42%. The Clippers went 13 of 36. That's 36%. There was a bit of a difference. Turnovers, Clippers 13. Portland with 12. I mean, it was a close game for a reason. A lot of these numbers are very close. Portland shot 44.6%. Clippers shot 45.6%. If you want to say they played down to their competition, there were definitely times in that game where I felt like the Clippers were being outworked and out-hustled. I do. The Clippers were 2-2 heading into that game. That was, I think, their second or third loss at home in Intuit Dome when they started 0-4. Who else do we got in here now? Kaylee said, we need to start getting Zoo like 13 to 15 shots again. Though it was very encouraging, Ty Lue kept going to him against Denver, even though his shot wasn't falling. I think that's a great point. They gave him opportunities. Ivica Zubac did not have it offensively yesterday, even though typically he's very good against Jokic. Saying Hoop said, with Klingon out, I think the Clippers should attack the rim. Yeah, they're missing bigs. No Klingon, no Robert Williams hurt again. Donovan Klingon hit that bleeping three-pointer against the Clippers. And you know who else? DeAndre Ayton had that three in the far side corner to help Portland win that game against the Clippers. Those were really, really big shots, timely shots. And Scoot Henderson had 14 on 5 of 8 shooting off the bench. Let me check on their injury report because I know they do have some guys missing right now and banged up. Let's see what we got. Robert Williams is out. Concussion. Scoot Henderson. He's day-to-day with a quad injury. Matisse Thybulle. He's out with an ankle sprain. And yes, Donovan Klingon. He's out with a knee injury. Be reevaluated in a couple of weeks here. The Portland Trailblazers are not on a back-to-back, right? It couldn't be if they just played last night because that would be playing 3 games in a row. Just answer your own question, Adam. Yeah. And they were in that game. They were in that game at home where they're 500. What else do we got here? Saying Hoop said Ayton isn't a great rim protector. Let me see. Defense within 6 feet. I want to see where DeAndre Ayton, who did outplay Ivica Zubac in that first game, and has given him some trouble over the years. I want to see where his defense is within 6 feet of the rim so far this season, DeAndre Ayton. I want to see if the numbers back that up. I know they will for Big Zoo. I'll tell you that right now. Ivica Zubac, one of the best there. As I pull up centers. Come on, NBA.com. Don't be slowing down on me like this. Just because I have like 15 tabs open on my Google Chromebook. Maybe it's user error. All right. Let me find DeAndre Ayton and where he ranks in defensive field goal percentage within 6 feet of the rim. And how far do I have to go to find him, by the way? So, yeah, he's not great. Teams are shooting 61.4% within 6 feet of the rim against DeAndre Ayton. For comparison's sake, let's see what Big Zoo is at. I'm guessing around 52%. Zubats, he's at 54.5%. So Ayton almost about 6%, 7% higher when it comes to defensive field goal percentage within 6 feet of the rim. So good call. Saying hoops. You're on top of it. Darkman said, DM said, this whole time I thought Uno was for number one in Spanish, but today I finally learned it's an acronym for under no one. That's funny. With James Harden there. Absent said, I love the chemistry between Mann and Miller with that second unit. Yeah, they have had good chemistry. Jonathan Ing said, I'm drawing a blank outside of Miller being less athletic, more shifty version of Corey Maggette in the way he attacks the basket relentlessly and not scared of contact, but a better shooter finisher. Yeah, Maggette used to get to the free throw line a lot. I don't hate that comparison. Man, it is hard to find a comp for what Jordan Miller does because he just puts his head down and goes full force towards the basket. And had those 8 points early in the second quarter yesterday. Gonza Talk said it. Clippers Talk is really 24/7. Ayton is Zoo's kryptonite. He kind of has been. Let's check on the matchup data. I've done this before their first game between one another. So Ayton is averaging 15 and 10 against Ivica Zubac, and that is in 15 games. Let's see what Zoo's getting against him. 9 and 7. But I'm guessing the minute advantage goes to DeAndre Ayton. Zoo's at 22 minutes per game in these 15 matchups. Ayton is at, 30 minutes per game. So he has more time to accumulate stats than Ivica Zubac out there. What is he shooting from the field against Zubac in these games? 53%? That's not great. That's not domination. What's Big Zoo shooting against him in these 15 games? And again, these are just games. This isn't matchup data. It's not to be relied upon completely. Zoo's shooting 64% against him, 11% better against Ayton. I'd say it's somewhat back and forth, but Ayton definitely got him that last time out. He only had 15 and 12, but that three-pointer he hit, that was a big shot. Zoo had 6 and 12. So, yeah, it's fair to say Ayton definitely got him that first game of the season. Let's see. Where else do we want to go? I want to check out the Portland Trailblazers and what they have been shooting from distance, specifically as of late, because I remember they weren't shooting it well and then did so against the Clippers in that first matchup where they shot 42% and hit 14 threes. But for the most part, that has not been happening against the Clippers this season, guys. They have actually had good shooting luck when it comes to opponents' three-point percentage in games. So Portland is only shooting 33.8%, 24th from distance so far this season. But let's go back, let's say last 10 games. Where are they at if you go back the last 10? Last 10, they're at 37.4%. They're up 4%. What if we go back the last 5 games? 36.8%. So last 10 games, Shaden's back. They're shooting 37% from 3. That's a little bit scary. That's something to watch. The Clippers, meanwhile, they had gone, I want to say, the 6 games without Norman Powell. This is accurate. Not I want to say. This is what it is. Coming into that game last night, in those 6 games where they went 4-2 without Norman Powell, they were shooting 33% from the outside, and then they knocked down 18 threes. So they were kind of due for an explosion like that. If Denver felt unlucky that the Clippers got that hot, well, tough. The Clippers on the season are shooting 37% from 3. So about 4% higher from the outside on the season. Make it just about a little over 3% higher than the Portland Trailblazers, who are at 33.8% from 3. But if you go last 10 games for the Portland Trailblazers, they're basically shooting exactly what the Clippers have been shooting from 3 in totality on the season. So they've been shooting it better. Offensively, they have looked better. What about turnovers? We love checking this out for the Clippers, don't we? They're at 16.6 per game. That's 27th. Portland, though, is at 17 flat. That's 29th in the league. Second most turnovers per game at 17. That is a big number. But in the first game, they only had 12 against the Clippers. Clippers only had 13, but they lost by 1. And I want to say that was the game where they had a turnover on an inbounds after we saw that multiple times this season to end things. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. James Harden had the bad pass on a timeout. And DeAndre Ayton had the steal. Don't like seeing that. This is a team the Clippers have to beat. As much as I'm saying, hey, the Portland Trailblazers are better than you think, I don't care. The Clippers have to beat them. More on the numbers in a second. Chris G said, give some more time to Miller. Miller time. He might be the next Sean Livingston. Ooh, I kind of like the Sean Livingston comparison with the way he could get to the rack. Gonza said, yeah, that 8-3 pierced my heart. It hurt. Jonathan Ing said, outside of Houston got hot from 3, you're saying? Outside of them, most of the Clippers' opponents have not had hot three-point shooting nights. Some of that is the Clippers' defense, but some of that, guys, is just fluky shooting going their way. It didn't actually to start the season, including that game against Portland. But then after the first 5 games or so, the shooting has gone the Clippers' way. JMI 1324 said, Anthony Simons is starting to warm up from the field. Anthony Simons is an absolute flamethrower when he gets it going. He scares the hell out of me. He had 25 in the first game on 10 of 24 shooting against the Clippers, and I think had some big buckets in the fourth quarter. Makes of consequence. So 27 last night he had against Dallas in their 137-131 loss. 21 before that against Sacramento. 30 before that against Indiana, but then just 5 points, then 25, then just 8 points, then just 2 points, but only played 5 minutes. So he must have got dinged up. They didn't get blown out that fast. In fact, they won that game against Minnesota where he only played 5 minutes. How? I don't know. His shooting's been kind of up and down, but I'm expecting it to be up against the Clippers. Gonza Talk said we should have at least won that game and the Wolves game and be 16-7. Yeah, well, what about the other games where teams could make the argument against the Clippers that they should have won because the Clippers pulled it off somehow late? Jonathan Ing said, Sean Livingston had really good passing and court vision. Also, Livingston wasn't attacking the basket in the way Miller does. Miller doesn't have that passing acumen. Yeah, but there's something to the Livingston. Like, there are some shades. Like, I think Jordan Miller is a good passer. I'm not saying he's Sean Livingston, but I think he's a good passer. And I think Sean Livingston attacked a lot. Chris G said, true, but we also don't know his capabilities with his passing yet with Jordan Miller. Daniel Yang said, Blazers are not to be overlooked. They've been playing well. Clippers, quite frankly, can't afford to overlook anyone considering they rely on effort and energy on defense to win. It is a fantastic point. Let me see what else we got with the numbers here, as I want to see what opponents are shooting from 3 against the Portland Trailblazers. I am forgetting stats. I'll go to ESPN to find this one. Again, I'm telling you guys, I think the Clippers are top 3 in opponent 3-point field goal percentage or 3-point percentage. Okay, they're 5th now. Teams are only shooting, well, they're tied for 5th, so they could be 4th. 34.1% against the Clippers. Teams are only shooting 34.1% from 3 against the Clippers. What are they shooting against Portland? Let's see. Portland's 19th in that area. Teams are shooting 36.3% against them. All right. How much are teams turning it over against the Portland Trailblazers? Ooh. See, this is interesting. This is an area that they're strong in. Teams are turning it over 15.4 times per game against the Portland Trailblazers because they're playing hard out there. The Clippers, how many turnovers are they generating per game? They're not that far behind, 14.7. Okay. What about Points in the paint. I want to see what Portland has for us there. Okay, Clippers are 12th in points in the paint at 49.4. Portland's right behind them. They're 15th, 48.5, but they've been better last 3 games. They're at 53 points, 5 points up from where they are on the season in points in the paint scoring. Points in the paint opponent. I'm guessing Portland's giving up a lot here. Let's just see. The Clippers are giving up 46.4 points in the paint per game. That's 12th. The Portland Trailblazers, I was wrong. They're only giving up 45.9 points in the paint per game. That's 10th. Actually better than the Clippers in that area. All right. Fast break points. We know they play at a faster pace on about top 10. So what does that translate to for the Portland Trailblazers in fast break points? It doesn't. They're 23rd, 13.4 points in the fast break per game. Clippers are 13th, 15.8. That's a great number for them. That was an emphasis coming into this season, and they have stuck to it. Opponent fast break points now. How's that transition defense looking for the Portland Trailblazers? Not great, Bob. They're 29th. They're giving up 18.6 points in transition per game. Clippers are 18th. They're giving up 15.7, so just about what they're getting. But Portland is susceptible there. I like seeing that. Is there anything else I need to check here? I can go to the Portland Trailblazers website and just see what guys are shooting on the season so far. What is Anthony Simons at? He's actually second in points per game. As Shaedon Sharpe in his 13 games is getting to 18 per game. So they have, 6 guys in double figures per game. But really, man, they have 9 guys getting at least 9.4 points per game. But some of those guys are out, like Robert Williams. So it's kind of inconsequential. Shaedon Sharpe, though, what's he shooting to get to those 18 points per game? 44% from the field, 29% from the outside. Not super efficient. Anthony Simons, to get his 17.3 points per game, he's shooting 41% from the field, 34.5 from 3. Not great there. Jeremy Grant, do you guys still want him? First rule of Clippers talk: no Jeremy Grant trade offers. Jeremy Grant's at 16 points per game. He is shooting, 38% from the field and 35% from 3. Not having a great season. And he was brutal in that first game against the Clippers. I think he was 3 of 13. DeAndre Ayton's getting 15 and 10. He's shooting 55% from the field. He takes 1 3 a game. And that one he took and made against the Clippers was very painful. He's shooting 31% from 3. Scoot Henderson. Scoot's getting 12 per game. We don't know if he'll be available, but he's shooting 42% from the field. I thought it would be lower, honestly. 32% from the outside. This Blazers team, they have guys that can beat you. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to show up that night. Whether or not they're going to put it together, I should say, that night. That's usually what it comes down to. Denny Avidu. I don't think I pronounced that right. I got him as well. Jeremy Mormon said, Mill had a nice no-look pass. Saying Hoop said, Miller from a scoring perspective kind of looks like a taller D-Lo. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Lefty with the no-dip 3 and ability to get off those weird angled shots as previously mentioned, but much better slasher, get to the line than D-Lo. That is a pretty good comp. I got to say, I know some people won't like that, but D'Angelo Russell's a good player in this league. He's been an all-star before. He does look a little bit like D'Lo with some of his handle and his shot. But yeah, obviously gets to the basket a lot more. It's very early. C now said, hey, Adam, addition by subtraction. I feel like I'm saying it like A minor. Addition by subtraction. Al Max said, would the Clippers be better off in trading Kawhi for some picks and young players? They aren't winning a title, so why not restock the assets? Al Mac, what do you think they're getting for Kawhi right now? What do you think they're getting, my guy? He hasn't played a game yet this season. He's got 3 years left on his deal. Who do you think is trading for that $40 million per year? $50 million. You guys aren't serious. He's worth more to the Clippers than he is going somewhere else. Can somebody help Al Mac or AI Mac? I hope it's AI. Come on, Al. Oh, that is a terrible question or proposition. Like, what do you think? Like, nobody knows if Kawhi's going to play. Why would they trade for him? Why would they give up picks, plural, and young players? It's ludicrous, man. It's not happening with his injury history. He's worth more to the Clippers in the off chance that he could stay healthy for an entire playoff run. And therefore, you got a contender. Why not restock the assets? Because they're not getting any assets for him right now? Maybe? Adrian said, thoughts on Kobe Brown? I thought he's looked decent so far this season. He hasn't played much. He's currently out, lower back injury. Thank you, Jonathan Ing. My God. Al Mack doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't. So know what he's getting? A timeout, because you aren't contributing anything of intelligent life to this conversation. I'm sorry, Mac. If you're saying they got him back and he played for like 2 months straight, which is a long shot, he's going to be heavily load managed. Maybe he'll play twice a week or something. My guess, if he can get the knee under control and not have it swell up after the first couple of games. Absence that I like Kobe's passing ability. Yeah, I've liked his rebounding too. And he's played with some force. He just hasn't played much. He's knocked down a 3 too. Max got me off track, unfortunately. Portland Trailblazers. Who else do they got? I like Robert Williams a lot. I feel terrible that he hasn't been able to stay healthy in his career. I actually thought when Boston lost him, that would become an issue because he offers a different dimension with his physicality on defense and rim protection and a lob threat. Absent said Batum is so solid. He was an unsung hero last night. Really was. Had some of those extra possessions off of tipping out offensive rebounds. Adrian said, I can compare Draymond to Kobe. No, you can't. That's what people thought coming in, but he hasn't showed nearly enough to be compared to Draymond. I'm sorry. Steve said, haven't watched too many Blazers games this season, but it seems they're always in each game. Everyone's got to lock in tomorrow. They are in a lot of games. Last night they lose by 6 to Dallas. They beat Sacramento by 9 before that. They lose by 7 in Indiana. Okay, they lost 123-98 in Memphis, but then they win against Houston 104-98 after getting blown out by Houston 116-88. They lose by 10 in Oklahoma City. They win by 4 against Atlanta. They win by 8 against Minnesota. They win by 14 against Minnesota. Yeah. They're clearly playing better. They are clearly a threat. They're not some bottom dweller in the West like everybody thought. They got 8 wins. Guys, is that what Law Murray put out earlier? I've given up and I don't really care that much about the in-season tournament stuff. To be quite frank, it's not my thing. Play to win, but you guys were talking about point differential and what they need to win by. I don't know. So Law Murray said the LA Clippers need to beat the Trailblazers, a team they lost to by a single point in October, 106-105, by at least 24 points to have any chance at making the knockout round as a wild card. By at least 24 points. Not by 24, at least. I don't think they're advancing, guys. Chris G said this trade for James is looking more like a steal for the Clippers. Batum in that trade, but comes back. Chris G said now 76ers want him back. Oh, man. The amount of 76ers fans that are like, we'd be in a much better spot if we had James Harden still instead of Paul George. I have seen that everywhere. Our friend from Japan said, hello, must-win game tomorrow, I think. I agree, considering they lost to him once already. I said they played Portland 4 times this year, which was a gift by a schedule that hasn't given many, or by the league office that hasn't given many with the Clippers schedule over the years. Getting to play Portland 4 times should mean 4 victories, but they already lost the first one. You have to win these games against Portland. Adrian's still stuck on the in-season tournament. I mean, we could win. Like, what is the point for a team like the Clippers? You know what would happen if they won the in-season tournament? Everyone would clown them and said, oh, got a ring, Mickey Mouse, fake ring. That's all that would happen. I mean, the Lakers get crap, and they have actual championships. What do you think would happen to the Clippers? I'm not into it. Absence said after Wednesday's game versus the Wolves, Clippers will get 2 days of rest for the first time since October 29th. Wrong. 3 days of rest. The Clippers have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off before they take on the Houston Rockets on Sunday, December 8th at Intuit Dome. That is the 4th game of this 4-game homestand. Absent, check the schedule before you start talking nonsense here. I'm kidding. It's just a schedule error. Daniel Yang said, considering Portland is 2-1 in NBA Cup and still have a chance to make it to the next round, Portland will come out with all they have. This is a fantastic point. A team like the Blazers, it would be big for them to make the knockout rounds and to make a run. Just like it was for Indiana, it kind of got them a little bit more notice and shine and more of a spotlight on a young team making moves. And then they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, that's not happening with Portland. But still, for a younger team, I think it's more meaningful. For a team that's not expected to do much or even make the playoffs or the play-in, for them to win the in-season tournament or just to advance to the knockout round, to make a little bit of noise, much more important for the Portland Trailblazers. I think that is something to point out that could, I don't know if it would change the complexity of the game as long as the Clippers come out and play hard, but Portland's definitely going to come and play hard and bring it. They already beat the Clippers once. ST said, we got to clip their wings. And they're flying too close to the sun. What else do we got here? That offensive rebounding number from them. 5th in offensive rebounding percentage for the Portland Trailblazers. That scares me. Daniel Yang said half the players on the Blazers are on minimum or low contracts. They'll be salivating at any prize money given. Teo said, got to win tomorrow. Jonathan Ing said the Blazers have a lot of young guys who haven't made a lot of money in their NBA careers, so the incentive is great for them as another point. Yeah. Multiple people bringing that up here. See, I appreciate you guys. Only had one person in here talking crazy about trading Kawhi and getting picks for him, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't. Kawhi would have to play, I don't know, 20 games straight for any team to go, all right, we're going all in. We'll give you something. Gonza Talk said at some point in time in the NBA, winning the cup in the league in the same year would be like an important feat, kind of like the undisputed champion. I like that. It would support them being the champion or winning the Larry O'Brien trophy. Oh, they were the best team all season long without a doubt. They won the in-season tournament and the NBA championship. That's one of the greatest teams of all time. Maybe people would say that. Jeremy Mormon said, are the 2 extra games that you get when you don't make the in-season tournament against teams in your group or any team that didn't also make the in-season tournament? I think it can be any team. I was talking with Law Murray about this pregame yesterday, and he feels like they don't want you to play teams in your own division, maybe, but I could be misquoting him. If anybody has any information or intel on this, I'd be interested to hear. How'd the Kings end up playing the Pelicans 5 times last season? Was that in-season tournament influenced? What else do we got? I'm trying to find some more trends on what's been happening with this Portland Trailblazers team and where they've been getting better and what the Clippers have to watch out for. Let's see last 10 games when it comes to turnovers here. It's not going good. So Portland's actually been turning it over more. The last 10 games, they're at 18.1 turnovers per game. So on the season, they're at 17. Last 10 games, Portland is turning it over 18.1 times per game. What if I go to the last 5? Is it even higher? Have they just had a plethora of turnovers? No. Last 5, 15.2. So what the hell happened the 5 before that? They must have been averaging like 22 turnovers. 18.1 turnovers per game the last 10 games for the Portland Trailblazers. So you can't always just look at the entire season statistical category and where they are. Look at where they've been most recently, because that could be more indicative of who they are as a team now. What about steals? Where's Portland at there? What do we got? Okay, so they're 10th in steals the last 10 games. Clippers are 2nd. Blocks, Portland's 4th in blocks the last 10 games. Okay. And covering some things here. Jonathan Ings said Kawhi would have to show he can be durable and playing at an all-star or S-tier superstar level through a playoff run for any team to think about trading for him, I would say. Probably. I could see a team if Kawhi came back, but it's not even worth the hypothetical. It's not going to happen. I'm not even going to entertain it with myself. What else do we got here? Ooh, 3-pointers attempted over the last 10 games. Mentioned Portland doesn't shoot it well from the outside, but they've been better over the last 10. They're about 37%. During that time, they are taking, just 37 threes per game. I'm guessing Chauncey Billups sees it the same way as Coach Lou, where if you're getting up more 3-pointers, that is a telltale sign that you're moving the basketball well and creating more open shots, since he is from the Coach Lou coaching tree. Gonza Talk said your top 3 MVP candidates at this point in the season. Top 3 MVP candidates. SGA. He was also my pick to win it this season because I think he had a case last year. I'm going with SGA. I'm going with is Donovan Mitchell having such a standout season for the Cleveland Cavaliers, or is it just so many guys are performing well that he would get lost in the MVP shuffle? Yeah, Mitchell's getting 25 per game. We're not talking crazy numbers here. Garland's at 21. Evan Mobley's at 17. Jared Allen is at 14. Ty Jerome has been big. Is at 12. Even though they are the number one team in the league right now, I think people view it as they are a complete ball club being led by Donovan Mitchell, but the numbers aren't astronomical. I'd have to ask Bob Smith if he should be in MVP conversations, because he's getting the kind of Jason Tatum treatment, I think. Tatum's on a really good team, best player on a really good team, but the numbers aren't out of this world, so not in the conversation. So I definitely got SGA in. It's interesting. Luka Doncic, I think I'd have to put in because his numbers are so massive in what he's doing. And guys like that, 29 points per game, almost 8 boards, 8 assists. They're always in the discussion. And then it just depends on team success and where they end up in the standings. But they're 5th right now. So where they were last season at 13-8, they haven't played great, but they've won 4 in a row now, and eight of their last 10. So they're starting to move up. I thought early on maybe Kevin Durant would get some talk, but then he got hurt. I think it's SGA, Luka, and Nikola Jokic. I'm sorry. Same as last year. I think those are your top 3 MVP candidates. But it's very early. And then I'd probably start talking about Tatum and Donovan Mitchell and James Harden in there. Yeah, Giannis, but they weren't having team success till recently. Milwaukee's 8-2 in their last 10 now, but they were well under 500. Now they're just a game over 500. So yes, you got to think about them now because the team is winning. I agree. There's nobody as good as Houston is. There's nobody doing anything that crazy individually. Like, how do you define the award? It's an individual award in a team game. It's difficult. Nobody's even getting 20 points per game for Houston. It's a bunch of guys doing work. They got 7 guys averaging double figures. And a lot of it's been their defense. I think Harden is in the conversation. I think he's top 6. Jonathan Ing said, Adam, what do you think the Clippers do to ensure a ball handler is on the floor as the primary decision maker when Harden gets his rest? Clippers couldn't get Nugs in rotation without Harden. I thought they did well enough. Okay, what happened in that second quarter when Denver went on that 17-2 run? I was watching it closely. The Clippers missed a ton of good shots. They did. It wasn't just they didn't have James Harden. They missed a ton of layups. Zoo was missing some, of course. Amir Coffey missed a couple of gimmies. Guys were just missing really good looks. I don't think what occurred there when the Clippers offense stalled out was some pattern or some fatal flaw without James Harden on the court then. I think that was just a team missing an inordinate amount of good looks, and that happens sometimes. And then you try to overanalyze it, and it's like, no, they just missed some really, really good looks at the basket. In fact, I want to pull up the game log and see if it translates to what I'm talking about, because I could have pulled the video on this. I thought about pulling some video and maybe doing something to show off James Harden's burst because it's been pretty impressive. But that second quarter, the Clippers start up 32-23. Jordan Miller has it going early. Amir Coffey hits a three-pointer. They're up 41-30. They're up by 11. Then Jordan Miller had a turnover. Russell Westbrook steal. But Mo Bamba blocked Russ, and Julian Strother had the putback. Yeah, they got out in transition some during that time, the Denver Nuggets. They had a couple of putbacks and a couple of buckets in transition. Strother had another driving layup. But then you get Amir Coffey, who missed an easy one. Offensive rebound, misses another one. Terrence Mann, offensive rebound. Then he has a bad pass. It's taken away by Aaron Gordon. They were right there at the iron. Ivica Zubac comes in. They're up 41-34. Bring a starter back. Then you have Ivica Zubac missing a 7-footer. He couldn't really get anything to go. Jordan Miller had the tip in on that. Those were his final 2 points as he finished with 8. Then Ivica Zubac missed a 11-footer. Norman Powell missed a layup. He missed back-to-back layups. I'm telling you guys, it was fluky what was happening there. Ivica Zubac misses a tip shot off a Norman Powell three-pointer. They're right there at the basket, and they couldn't get anything to go. Jonathan Ing said, I asked because don't want Harden having to play a full half again like he did in the second half last night. I mean, the best answer is the Clippers get up by double digits, and then you can get away with having Jordan Miller and Terrence Mann and Chris Dunn be your ball handlers and playmakers. That's what I'd like to see. That's a good question. Coach Lou talked about it post-game last night and talked about how difficult it was to kind of figure that out. Of course, there's a solution on the bench in Bones Highland, but he's out. I'm not saying we'll never see him again in a Clippers uniform out there on the court or something, but I think last night was pretty telling. ST said it looked like they were delegating the playmaking well from what I could see. Man definitely did some. It was his best game. I'm with you guys for another 5 minutes here. Because then we got to record a Clips and Dip. Check that out later. Yeah, Jonathan, as usual, bringing up some really interesting points. High-level ball knower. What else do we got? As I'm just searching frantically for any areas the Portland Trailblazers have been good in, I should just see if there's any particular player that has been extremely hot. It's not Anthony Simons. I looked at the game log. He's been somewhat up and down. I looked at Shaden Sharp. He's been decently consistent, but nothing crazy. Jeremy Grant. Why is he struggling this much? Jeremy Grant, 14 points against Dallas in that loss last night, then 11 points, then 22, then 5, then 14, 9, 8. Anybody still want to trade for Jeremy Grant and him making $35 million a year over the next 4 seasons? No? Okay, cool. Y'all got off that quick. You were riding that wavelength for a bit. Yeah, he's in a funk. He's actually gotten worse as the season has gone along. Jeremy Grant. What about DeAndre Ayton? Let's see what he's been up to. 18-7 last night. 26-9 the game before that in their win over Sacramento. 16-12, 6-8, 4-6, 21-10, 19-13. He's been solid. A lot of double doubles in here, but nothing crazy. He's averaging in November. He averaged 15 and 10, which is what he's at on the season. So no real outlier performances or guys that look to be heating up and, you know, changing who this Portland Trailblazers team is. Scoot, but he's been banged up and we don't know if he'll be playing. He hasn't played since the 27th, so the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. He was kind of playing better. It's about the same. Yeah, it's up and down play. I guess that's why they're not exactly one of the better teams in the NBA, but they're not exactly as bad as you would think either. They aren't. They have been competing. They're 8-13. And they're currently 13th in the Western Conference. Hmm. All right. I gotta get ready. Uh, Norm shooting 63% at the rim this year. Is that true? I mean, it's not anything that crazy. uh, I would think that's not a wild stat to me. So I got him at less than 5 feet. He's shooting 56%. So where are you getting your numbers at? Which is okay. It's not great, honestly. It's better than Harden, who's at 47% less than 5 feet, which is close to some career low like stuff. Where are you coming with this stat from? Absent. It's absent of evidence. Mm. Oh, Gonza asked. That's why. Well, I just gave you less than 5 feet. That's different than just restricted area, but it's not great. It's not. It's fine. It's fine, is what it is. It is acceptable. Okay, so I guess that is technically a restricted area, less than 5 feet. So 55.6%. Norman Powell. There you go. Don't know where my guy came up with that. So, yeah, 0 to 3 feet different than 0 to 5 feet, which is restricted area. 0 to 3 feet is even closer. So I could see how you had your number. Daniel said, I don't like the all sub lineup Ty Lue puts out. One of Norm, Harden, or Zubas need to be out there. Well, Norm was on a minutes restriction. They didn't have KPJ. I don't think they lost those minutes because they just had a really bad lineup out there. I think that lineup had an outlier amount of misses at the basket, and they got really good looks and just missed. And that's how that 17-2 run happened from Denver in the second quarter. Pretty simple. Gonza said, that's why I was saying he needs to improve his game around the basket. He's been fine. The thing is, he's not taking many of those shots. Like, he's taken 54 shots in the restricted area, and he's at 56%. It's not bad. I don't think he has any issues around the basket, especially when he's going to his right. That's pretty much always a bucket. When Norman Powell is curling to his right, off a dribble handoff, he's getting that to go. He's been highly, highly efficient, guys. There is nothing to complain about with Norman Powell. Mike Dang said, Adam, how do you feel about a 19-year-old 6'9" forward who shoots 47% from three and has a 47-inch vertical? In what league does he shoot 47% from three? Who's Mike Dang talking about? Who's the mystery player here? Daniel Yang said, not talking about just last game, talking about before Norm was hurt, he would put KPJ out there with the subs and hope he makes shots. That lineup has been good. Typically, they'll have Ivica Zubac out there with the backups. That's what they've been doing for the most part. So, like, once you get into the specifics, you'll be like, oh, I guess he hasn't been going with all bench lineups that often. I'm telling you. And Norm was on a minutes restriction. And some of these all bench lineups have been very useful for the Clippers as of late. That Mo Bamba's been very solid. Yeah, so G League. I mean, I don't know. I could bring up some of the Brandon Boston numbers in the G League. Like, I like Trenton Flowers. I think that's a great pickup for the Clippers because high upside, stash him away in the G League, let him develop, hasn't played much, high level ball, and see what happens. I'm excited about it too. But keep the G League in the G League. Kobe Brown's been dominating the G League. It hasn't translated. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. More often than not, it doesn't translate. The NBA is just a different level to reach. 3 dozen said, "What up, Adam? What up, 3 dozen?" Yeah, he's got years to grow. A lot of seasoning. It's in the incubation process. And the Clippers have other young guys in the meantime to play. Yeah, Miller was top 8 in scoring last season. But what's funny is he didn't shoot it well from 3. I think he shot like 31%. All right, guys, I got to go. Appreciate you. Check out the podcast with Brandon Marcus earlier. Had a fun back and forth talking about last night's game, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden MVP stuff. This has been another edition of Clippers Talk.